Yes, indeed, we are live. Fambulem, I bring warm greetings to Una from the TNN TV podcast. Of course, we're changing the name as we go along for fitting with the time. But today, now the second day of October 2023, me where they talk to Una, I mean name Prince Emil Chroma, and the time na my side is 2 minutes past 10 p.m. British Standard Time. Today, we want to talk to Una about social media, but not only social media, we use social media as the context, but in terms of propaganda news, in terms of fake news, in terms of false news, or how outburst on social media can have an impact on people and where they listen, how it can help for shape the opinion of people. So now, the thing that I want to talk about today, within the context of Dr. Samura Matthew Wilson Kamara, we're happy for the APC flag bearer for the 2023 elections, with the in negotiations right now with the Sierra Leone People's Party, led by Julius Maada Bio, retired brigadier, and the international community. There's plenty of talk today because we want for can provide an analysis. And there's so much for talk about. And I want for welcome Una to the no spin zone. Family and those of Una we don't join, I see the number they increase rapidly. We live stream this both on YouTube and Facebook. Wherever you watch this from, there are a couple of things we ask for. A, if not YouTube, please subscribe to a YouTube page. B, please bring others for watch the story itself, not for you for go tell them. Okay, we will really appreciate that. So Fambulem, this is the TNN TV Media Empire platform, and we'll bring una massive greetings. Please don't touch that dial. All right, Fambulem, further warm greetings to Una, and I thank Una all we don't join us at this point. So, like I say again, we want to talk about social media and how it's been weaponized, and most likely touch on a few things we will make people raise their eyebrow, or at least you try to do something for protect yourself from just accepting the news which potentially could be false, how to identify them, and what you will actually talk about. It wasn't very long ago, about I think we did within the same week. Of course, the weekend don't come and go, so probably we might say just last week, because every day we sleep and grab, there's new conversation on social media. The one we heard last week is about the APC 2023 flag bearer for the presidency, Dr. Samura Wilson Kamara. We apparently was said, allegedly, that in a sellout. In other words, it see the president privately, and when it see the president privately, of course, privately means private. So the other people that were involved, either in team and etc., and then they tell them what you will see the president about, and etc., etc. So we really want to talk about this because that caused an outburst na social media. It's been very, very serious. You know, so we get powerful bloggers. When they blog, a lot of people do listen. And instead of people try to rationalize what is being said or what the reality is, or look for extra sources for source that information within just here as to, in a kind of verification process. No, we don't. We just sort of take them on hook, line, and sinker. So we want for weigh in this conversation tonight, okay? But from a very objective point of view, we don't get any side with the support. Or if we even say with the support, then it has to be on the side of the salon people and with salon people. So now that basis, they want to look at this. And I want to start with the Prime Minister of Barbados, a very clever, smart lady. I mean, I'm very impressed by this lady, by the way, because she's actually a very smart woman. And call her Maya. Some people then go pronounce her Mia, but it's spelled M-I-A. Maya Motley. Maya Motley is the Prime Minister of Barbados. I've been following her for a few years now. And even before she became Prime Minister, normally you can enter the political scene and then before you begin for rise. So in pronouncement, the way they make, the logic, the way they speak or spew is unbelievable. And once I assume the mantle of leadership, my goodness. I mean, she's been a spearhead in the front line of emancipation, of independence and respect for sovereignty. Not only the way how other people then put her more, because we will touch on that as well. So once he go to the United Nations for address the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly, in short called UNGA, UNGA, she started her speech, a brilliant speech. She's always brilliant with social media. In other words, how social media is used, weaponized so that it can be used against people with good intent, but for smear. So whilst there's a good side to it, but because now a platform where they attract millions and millions of people, and you can water down there to your own community in thousands. Let's say then and now, my platform, for example. So we are in the thousands of people. So we want to shape the opinion of we people. So we editorial, we now we go use for help for shape the narrative, and especially so for the back something. So now for use we platform for back that in the by cleverly manipulating opinions, shades of opinions, for make people for to line, for get that opinion and accept them most times as gospel truth. So Maya Motley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, warned us about social media. So in other words, social media has been weaponized in which it can be used against an opponent in a deadly fashion, not like in mortal injury or physical injury, but different kinds of injury, whether not emotional, psychological, but yes, it does do a lot of damage. So just last week, we already say Dr. Samura Kamara na sellout. And let me just make this announcement quickly. Once we hear that news day about Dr. Samura Kamara in Sellout, with business as in any other responsible platform, now for try forget to the source of the news, and then the person that's been affected by that news, for try forget their view, their opinion, their perspective on why are you saying what you're saying, waiting are you source, how you get waiting do, and then the person or persons, individuals, organization, or whatever involved, you get in touch with them as well for ask them for verify veracity of waiting with the area. Is there any truth to waiting with the area? If there is, maybe you can help for provide an input as well as to why there is. If there is not, you can equally help for advice as to why will somebody be doing something of that nature to you, so that you within at the middle, because you get for can broadcast just like how we do so for part with information to we people. At least we don't hear all sides. We don't investigate. We don't look at relevant sources for provide a third party opinion based on the conversation we've had with both sides, and then the relevant information around the story, and then we come with and Kanto Fambule. Having said this, in the Dr. Samura Kamara case, this is exactly what we do. Unfortunately, we're not able to forget Dr. Samura. We approach Dr. Samura Kamara in team. We make them clear to them that this is the rumor that is making the rounds in social media and it's gone viral. I repeat, this is not the rumor where they make the rounds of social media and it's gone viral. It's gone viral in the sense that when they put them out there, we get to understand the presence of time factor, and the presence of the now. Now that's what we want to see. Sometimes I coin these phrases. It can be confusing at times, but it does mean something. When I say the presence of now, I mean say waiting they happen now in the society, in the country, there is a presence of now or an urgency of now. So you find out, say, you have people out there where they look for information, and then people anyway they look for the information. Once they are fed with information, just any information, they grab it. And once they grab them, then they go disseminate that information. Before you know, you have a pool of information out there, which most likely is not true, but the idea here is it is. So few people that know what this information can mean. And once they want to do havoc, because some people in a havoc, I have a platform, I have thousands of people, thousands, tens of thousands of people where they listen. And not to be at one time, but overall, after a day, 2, a week, or a month, you'll find out, say, we get 90,000, 100K number of people who will have watched us. So imagine you put out a story day, and then you try for shape the opinion of people, giving them fake information, which largely social media they do now, especially in our own community. So now in that case, then we wake up last week and you see Dr. Samura Kamara is a sellout. So I will begin with the Prime Minister of Barbados, where I call a very brilliant woman called Maya Motley. We say, be careful with social media. So when we invite Dr. Samura Kamara, obviously if we get an intention for come, because we talk with the team and we not give up yet. We make them for understand, say, this is exactly what is happening. And now that this is happening, what we need for do is for get your side of the story. Instead of us saying it to Famulem, you come and say it yourself. We ask the questions and you answer. But we take and say the camp is very busy at this time. And even as we speak now, we understand say them is supposed to come out with a press conference. Unfortunately, as we wait now, this has not happened yet. Or probably don't happen during my absence on social media, because remember, say, it's just the click of a button. So probably it's happened already, but I am not aware. But they were willing to do that. So now the problem, they make the rounds right now on social media, even though from last week, you will feel say this thing don't die down, but it is serious. So the money one Barbadosian Prime Minister, Maya Motley, tell we will be careful with social media. Of course, some of us are very careful. That's why we will go to the extreme for try forget we sources them kind of right. Okay. Now we'll go into the story I'm interested in. But this is just me. This is the then and now. We lack for provide context, because in all that we do, into una self, una no say context really matter, but we just sound bite. Okay. So Samura Kamara was accused of selling out in bed with Dr. Retired Brigadier His Excellency Julius Madabiu. Some people do get upset when I give the man in title, but for goodness sake, who runs the country right now? We got to be realistic. Who does? You don't have to appreciate him, but you have to be at least a political realist or accept the realism of the present. Okay. So since the end of the election, which ended in controversial circumstances in which the government of the now has been accused of stealing the elections because it does not reflect the view of the electorates. And this not to me, they amplify this. The international community, where people in the try for downplay now, they also amplify the talk way at the talk in terms of the veracity, the authenticity of the election results. So once the election they done, and then there were question marks around the results, obviously the country went into a stalemate. A stalemate. I remember say we be one of the earliest people who use the word stalemate. And then there were a few others out there who not agree. I mean, few prominent people know the country is not still in a stalemate. Two things. Either you just intentionally they try for say no and not agree with what you say, even though that is the truth. Or secondly, you are purely ignorant, completely ignorant. And in these two categories, many people fit into these two categories. You get people way they know say the country they in a stalemate and then deny that, say no, it's not in a stalemate. Well, some of them were arrogant and ignorant on top of it. And then you have the others who, I mean, big fool. I can't find any other word, here for put them. They don't know at all. They're not Dandogo, completely big fool. Because that was it, country in a stalemate. There's no conclusive result as per waiting the exercise was all about. Okay. So since then, there has been accusation upon accusation from all sides as to the conduct of this election. And because there are question marks all around this and the country is in a stalemate, political stalemate, if I may add, the people encounter together and they talk about the political elite, the opposition and the leadership of the country, then come together alongside with democratic guarantors. We really need for understanding is that under this, I think this is the Fifth Republic. Don't quote me, I might get this wrong, just to try to figure that out. I can give you a context. The war finished in between the RUF and the people of Sierra Leone, we went into a new phase. A lot of new agreements were brokered and signed, agreed to by all the factions involved. And this not to be only between we as Sierra Leoneans, because at some point the country was in so much chaos that we'll not be able to solve the problems ourselves. So we get to seek outside help. So once we get outside help, there were many agreements that were drafted, okay? And we agreed or acceded to those agreements for Bring Peace Canary country. Those agreements were not only for the immediate, there were some that were only for the it, but there were others that stretched over a period of time, a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 5 decades, or maybe in many other respects, not just in the language input in those agreements, which is until the country, I'm just making this up, but it does make a lot of sense if you know they follow. Until the country finds its footing and consolidate the peace in which there will be a government or a system which does not harasses its people, has respect for the rule of law, and the judiciary is strong and independent, and there is a cause of action that one can take and get redress. Then until then, all of these agreements would be in place. But other than that, we almost like being overseen, and people and they look over us for make sure say they conform to the agreements they are where we sign. And Fambulen for our information, today this not the case because with democracy is young, it's fledgling, it's nascent. It's young, it's fledgling, it's nascent. That's what our democracy is. And owing to a kind of system in which we can kind of brutalize ourselves and not get respect for one another, much more the rule of law, that the winner takes it all. And once you take them all, now you bully all the other people and for conform to what you want, not by the rule of law. Because in Salon today, we know say we not get the presumption of innocence. In fact, now the reverse form, now so the thinking start. You are guilty before trial. So in other words, we convict you now, we charge you of guilt now, even though we haven't conducted a trial, and then we go conduct the trial later. This is what's happening in the country. And a country of this kind, you know, say if the leadership is left to itself alone, there becomes a problem. Now, having said this again, we know say Samura Kamara was accused of colluding with the SLPP government, that if they go see the president privately and they can't tell people some different things, or just basically just hide, just hide the truth from the people. Now, this is exactly what I want to talk about, and let's go there. So, Fambulen, for begin with, the question we ask is, Dr. Samura Kamara a sellout? Of course, that's a question mark. And a follow-up question as to how and why. And then we use a Latin phrase there. We ask who benefits. Quo bono means who benefits. Now, who are the benefits from the action that they accuse Dr. Samura Kamara of? Who benefits? Now, again, before we go to that, the question is, why will Samura Kamara do this? Is he doing it? That's the first question. And if he's doing it, waiting do he do am? Why he do am? Let's try and see whether we go introduce different theories into, or inject them into this conversation. And I expect we all for kind of participate, okay? If you get question, you know, probably you can call. Then maybe we'll try for address that. But the chat room, I'd expect say Fambulen within the chat room and engage with selves, and let we keep the conversation as usual, really, really decent. Let's disagree to agree, because I believe say every one of us now one common goal now we get the betterment of Mama Salon. How we arrive there, I believe this na the difference lie. So they say Dr. Samura Kamara go see the president privately. Even if Dr. Samura Kamara go see the president privately, what is wrong with that, Famule? Let me just repeat that again quickly. If Dr. Samura Kamara, the 2023 presidential candidate, where they lead the main opposition party, the All People's Congress Party, right now, waiting wrong if you go see the president? That's my question to you. We don't know why you go see the president other than assuming that this reason I make you go see the president. And these are called complete nonsense. I repeat, this is not complete nonsense. This man, they in negotiation with the current leadership for try for find a solution to the stalemate in which the country finds itself. Me and you not in that position there. It's a very difficult position for Occupy, to be honest. But me and you not did it. If we were there, then of course, when we feel the weight or the burden of it, then we go understand. Then probably if we have time for can make noise in social media, we go do so measurably. We go measure with tone and how we approach the entire issue, how we say it. There is nothing wrong with Dr. Samura. Of course, there is an addendum there, secretly. So secretly could have been something induced into this conversation for make the whole situation look ugly, in which they can accuse the person of. It makes sense. Oh, you know, say they see the president privately. Oh yes, they see the president privately. So we go see the president privately. Of course, the president a big man. So within they talk, you know, they get any text, any translation of that conversation. The idea is no. Everything that's surrounding it is just kind of made up. That we see on our vehicle and we see now he appear in a lodge, now he disappear inside the darkness. Now he and the president go inside one room, then go talk. You know, you're waiting and talk. So the whole idea surrounding the basis that he go see the president. No, only go see the president, because go see the president is formal, but secretly go see the president. For goodness sake, give me a break. You know how many people are going to lodge? Have you ever been to lodge before? Because probably if you don't go there, then maybe you will be careful. And I know they say people don't meet the president secretly, and it depends on what in secret is secret. Because now lodge, the president gets in bodyguard them, he gets in secretary them. There is a battery of people them way did it. After hours, of course, it winds down to a very few number of people them waking usher people them behind the back gate or under dark silhouetted background when a shadows the no more now you they see. But there are people who are aware that yes, so somebody come. But this is not unusual for the president for see people privately now in private residence. Until we get a text of a message we describe as to waiting and talk, then we cannot put a label for say na sellout. And there's plenty for let we talk about this. We just only don't begin. Another thing here, one for the family, I make a start the program trying for quote the Prime Minister of Barbados, Maya Motley. We won the whole world on the stage of the United Nations. Brilliant speech, by the way. There were very brilliant speeches on the platform of the United Nations. We understand what in the United Nations platform mean, what it give them. That one of the biggest bullhorn in terms of expatiating your views to the entire world. Now the platform that now you get. Not a platform where you go rile about your domestic affairs. This is an international platform. So you go be an internationalist when given that opportunity to speak. What are the burdens of today's international community? What did happen? What are the pressing issues of today? Yes, you can factor your country into that. Like, for example, we are victims of climate change. We know they cause that, but we are affected by the outcome where other people and they do. This you could champion at the United Nations. You could talk about the issues of human rights in other country them, and then you can factor your country inside on how well you respect these treaties and rules around the world. You can talk about the cohabitation of nation states, okay, between the South, okay, and then the West, and then the East. How do we make peace? How do we forge peace for nation states to come together? You could talk about food, okay? How do we feed 8 billion plus more, still counting, mouths in the world? Food sufficiency. Your domestic affair, waiting happen between you and your Minister of Justice, the man with the jail for you, and your personal chef, not so you they go talking at the United Nations. Having said this, no means say you know they talk about your country. Now, how you factor your country inside the conversation. So we go also come to that, which exactly I mean, although it's supposed to be very clear. But then do Dr. Samura an injustice, in my opinion. And what about the possibility, say, now the same opposition, not opposition. First of all, let me deal with the opposition. There is a possibility, say, now opposition now inject this view in the public domain. Because it's easy for twist the opinion of people and family. Easy. I can grab tomorrow, I can get many convincing, put up first thing the money, just scatter onto certain platform them or send out to certain and need for remain anonymous. I mean, news need for be on top of the food chain that it looks so persuasive that some of us, we don't bother to verify this news. All we do, we just champion them by regurgitating the same news. And because we get followers, it became the multiplier, it becomes the multiplier effect in which everybody else, they sort of broadcast that news there before you look, it's gone viral. So that can be easily done. And the Samura case is no exemption. Exactly, you get people them where they against Dr. Samura, people that will not even be want for let it be a president, much more for be a president within your own team. This is something that I know. Okay, this is not the arrogance of some that I know this and no, no, that's not what I'm saying. I try to back away from that degree of arrogance. I'm not going to go into that. What I say is within the camp of first of all, the APC is divided. And away from inside Pasamura camp, you get people that, of course, we really opposed to Ram, really opposed to Ram. And this is no secret because they are celebrating, and they celebrate on social media on the loss of their own party and are not able to understand why. I really need to understand why. Because one good thing say, in as much as you get issues with your own ruling party, but waiting you go once now for let your party they in power, then maybe when I go try for fix on a difference because it's more advantageous. But this now the opposite now they see that people that they celebrate we belong to a party we lost and they celebrate the losses and they betray and beat their own party. It doesn't make sense to me, but probably also to others. So me, I will really like for understand this. But this is not the situation where Dr. Samura Kamara found himself, that these people outside of INREM, they against some bad one. But not only them, people that were there within your party, they're so upset with them, not upset. They were not too upset. I think I make a mistake. But they really don't want to be president. Not to then, not to now. They really don't want for to be president. They undermine them. So the point I was trying to make, is there a remote possibility, probably not even remote, that any one of these people could put out a story out there, say, oh, say on the 1st of September, that Sunday afternoon, when the bar be Komoyana, say Samura Kamara be go see him privately. Do you know, say, on the 2nd of July, on the first week after the election done, Nahin Samura Kamara be not begin to talk to the president, then they meet privately, then they come. I mean, give me a break again, for goodness sake. There is nothing convincing about this story other than sometimes the people way they say it. But me, they say that it is possible that the president can meet the man privately. Now, let me jump to a picture which was making the rounds again recently, which, in my opinion, from a political observation point of view, some people they try to tie that picture there into an alleged private meeting, even though later or in the context, they try to make we say these were separate, but they were introduced almost about the same time. The same time when Dr. Samura Kamara they talked to the president, the chief minister in a relaxed mode with hands in pocket. I don't see anything wrong with that. Because first of all, negotiations are ongoing. These people are meeting. There is plenty of time between these people where we never see at all. But it is happening. And when they meet, then they shake hands, then they smile. This is no war, okay? This is diplomacy at work. Diplomacy means courtesy, respect for each other. And once they say the negotiations, they ongo, which means that family at a table, they have a conversation, move the country forward. Moving the country forward don't mean that you have to be angry to the point that you want to burn or break bridges. No. The whole idea behind this negotiation is to find a common goal, reach something amicable, we will resolve the current impasse in the country so that we people that were able to go forward with their lives. Other than that, the hard time is just going to increase. So even when you're in our position, the burden is also on you for try to meet an agreement along with your other negotiating partners for get the country moving forward. Now I can assure you now, this is not a small feat itself. This is really serious. And if you've been there at the shoes of the Torah, not probably both foot, okay? But if you get one foot inside Dr. Samura Kamara in shoes, then you probably understand how heavy that shoes is, even for lift them up, how heavy that shoes is. Probably way heavier than lead, okay? Way heavy. And how complex the situation is for let you try for maneuver your way whilst you're having a negotiation in which the trump cards are not very much in your favor. Now I want to let people understand. Hence why we ask the question, who benefits? Who Bono? who benefits if Dr. Samura Kamara is actually doing this? Even though we get a question mark, is he a sellout? Is he a sellout? So we provide this analysis and you make the decision yourself, Ambulem. Now, we not see him impossible for Dr. Samura Kamara for meet the president privately. You can change privately to secretly, which gives the word, the meaning, and the atmosphere, the idea, a different connotation. So privately change to secretly, it gives the talk a different view altogether. Also, it meet the president secretly. Well, secretly could simply mean privately. Not all thing when the president meet with somebody, they go out there in the media. The president do have a lot of private meetings, which could be construed as secret meetings. But when you want to do damage, that's the exact word then we can use. Just call them secrets. And then if somebody can able to provide a little bit of anecdotal evidence, say, yes, on the 5th by 5 p.m., the man be sit down a lodge day, we see him. Somebody corroborates that statement day. That statement day, it gain traction and begin to make the rounds. Now, rumor now you don't spread, so even though that is not true. I repeat, now rumor now you don't spread, so even though that one day is not true. So we understand, say, Samura Kamara meet the president secretly. Do we know why he met the president secretly? Of course, it's a sarcastic question, but one with an intent. He meets the president secretly. Well, if you meet the president secretly, but of course, we also don't hear suggestions on the basis or reasons why he will meet the president secretly. Why, again, not a rocket science, we already know, say, there are ongoing negotiations. Sometimes we are not able for, and the president largely is not in those negotiations. The president is represented. Depending on how strong Samura Kamara is, Samura Kamara could equally be represented in such meetings. Not necessarily get for the day and negotiate, then bring drafts, then come back. The party, the executives, then look into that, then see whether if not something for respond to, then respond, or have to formulate the next strategy for the next meeting, because these are ongoing negotiations. Fambulem, we really need to be aware of social media. Okay? Here are a few things that we need to know within a negotiating process. Waiting at the hands where Dr. Samura gets inside this negotiation process. In other words, the clout where Dr. Samura gets inside this negotiating process. I want for them to listen keenly, Fambulem, okay? I really want for them to listen keenly. And the numbers are fluctuating between 80 and 100 between the two platforms who they talk to right now. Or they ask Fambulem, Diabo, I'm not saying they enjoy the program, but let me continue for shape, no? Let's not be selfish. Let's continue for share. Let me get other people and for can join the talk. But this is serious. This is really serious, this conversation with the guys. Okay. So let us not ever forget for join. Some of the reasons why probably will appear like say, I repeat myself, somebody give me some love signs, which I very much appreciate. Thank you very much. And I keep my head down a little bit, even though I'm not supposed to do that, doesn't really look professional. But again, in blogging, this is what happens. It's largely a one-man show until you get other people and where they help you for disseminate the information. So we get a large group of followers them. I mean, just want to distribute this video maybe 2 or 3 times and just come back to the point very quickly. And then gradually, I will continue for do so as they go along. Okay? As they go along. So Dr. Samura can negotiations with the government, or vis-a-vis the government in negotiations with Dr. Samura Kamara's APC. So these are two organizations having a meeting on negotiations ongoing for fen away, for broke the impasse, for broke the stalemate, for come to an agreement so that the country go able for move forward. In this process, there are other brokers of peace. You can call them arbitrators, you can call them umpires or referees, democratic guarantors, and there are many names where you can call them. But it's not only the two parties who are having these negotiations. You get other people in too. The reason why I stress on this is, whilst there is a possibility of a sellout, but Famule, look at this on the basis of sellout, where you get the international community also a part and parcel of this entire exercise of negotiations, trying to find a way for broker peace between the ruling party and the opposition party in the interest of national cohesion, national unity, the security and the sanctity of the state. This is exactly what they're looking at now. And the idea that there are other actors involved in this, it says volumes. And these other actors that are involved in this are very, very powerful nations or organizations. A few of them will be that of the United States of America, which continue, despite the challenges, remains one of the most powerful countries on Mother Earth as we speak today. The other will be a conglomeration of states or nation states called the European Union. I think 26 or 27 of them have got a stake in this impasse what we talk about now with country Sierra Leone. They do. So therefore, they are helping to broker the peace. You get other people and other organizations. And then Fambule, Muna want tell me say now on top of this, now this Samura they go sell. If Samura they go sell out, then you get for acquiesce to all them people there, or all them people there, vice versa, get for acquiesce to. In other words, either agree with them, vis-a-vis, agree with them. So it's a tightrope, like I mentioned earlier, which Samura Kamara, the worker. That not make it impossible for Lagos to see the president. Of course, it is possible. He will have seen the president many times. We also need to understand that this is not the political class, this is not the political elites in the country. They meet all the time. They talk all the time, sometimes privately on telephone. And if we be aware of this as well, we'll go, oh, secretly, you know, say that part, they call the other part and then talk, you know, and then talk this and that and what have you. We're not going to text, no interpretation, you know, just basically hearsay they say, and they only take one for put that word they out there, and then it become almost like gospel truth. So Samura Kamara get all right for see the president. Now at the country that let's just deal with the party again recently and provide some context. In other words, one picture be they make the rounds in which Samura Kamara getting hand in pocket, deeply in engagement with the chief minister, Dr. David Moina Senge. So the detractors of Dr. Samura, they saw this photo, and it's not bad for you have an idea of a photo, you know, form an opinion around a photo. I don't see anything wrong with that until when you meet up somebody who are having the conversation and somebody get critical mind, understanding the context of this photo. And so therefore you decide for engage. You get your opinion about them, and the other person get an opinion about this picture. But there's a context, there's a background to the picture. So that background, they provide the evidence as to what is it about this picture based on the argument we want to have it. So let's take it again as it was playing out in social media. So the chief minister is having an engagement with the opposition leader, all within the backdrop of a conversation ongoing or negotiations ongoing as to fend a way for broker peace between the two sides. And also members say we're not there at war. So there's a lot of diplomacy going on. So diplomacy is all about smile for the camera and shake hands and what have you, and all about positive attitudes. We're not in a war. We need to remember this, because now war, now the person with the biggest gun. But the same is true, even though not about gun now when it comes to civilian business and negotiations. It depends on almost clout where you hold. If you're in a negotiating table, let's use business for an analogy, or a company for an analogy. So you get a bigger company and you get a smaller company. Both companies are doing well. But a smaller company, or there's a downturn, everybody is affected. So even though basically people are getting heads, or companies getting heads over water, still they swim. But the smaller company, they stretch more because the assets them are restricted, very, very much restricted. The bigger company gets a pool of assets. Yes, it feel the pain, but it get choices them where it can play around. So therefore, it's able to survive a longer period. Coming back to the water analogy, they are both swimming. But the smaller company in asset them very limited. So they burden them and they can't go down quickly. Whereas the bigger company get assets them where in they play around with. So therefore, you get a choice there. We still they keep them over water. So the bigger company no really need the smaller company, although if you get them, it help for her to asset them. Whereas the smaller company need the bigger company for survival, and immediate survival is urgent. So if then go sit down at the negotiating table, I remember I've been getting this conversation with one of the man a long time back. And I sure say he know what he been talk, but he not be able to articulate them well. So the smaller, and I think in a day they derive this, although it not be occur to me, but yes, now they derive this analogy from. So the bigger company get bigger clout at the negotiating table. So it able for sweller, for bring in, for coerce the smaller company, because the smaller company, it lose so much, it can't afford for continue, for lose. It need for take action immediately. The bigger company can last for a few more months, a few more years, going back to the water and swimming and keeping your head above water. You can swim longer than the smaller company who is taking water in fast or going down fast. The same is true that when you go to the negotiating table, how much clout you get at the negotiating table. And Fambula, the reason why I mention is this. Dr. Samura Kamara, they in negotiation with the government. Now, whilst they negotiate, Dr. Samura Kamara not get much at the table. Yes, some people in go disagree, so make stress a little bit waiting I mean. Dr. Samura Kamara, they go up against the bigger company, the bigger devil, we get much more asset where it can play on. Whilst you get limited assets, so you liquidate your asset them if need be, for let you keep surviving. But if una both they do that, I mean the bigger company and the smaller company, in this case, the government and Dr. Samura's APC has got limited asset. And if we get for liquidate asset them for survive, then there is a problem there, because the bigger company, which is SLPP, if we get for liquidate asset them for continue for survive, it will take a while, and which means that we can outlast the smaller company because we can continue for sell and reach the critical mass. But by then you don't go down long term, you are dead and gone, or you don't drown or whatever. And we still the struggle over a period of time, depending on what I get. So once we go on the negotiating table and begin to negotiate, I get clear-cut advantage. Clear-cut advantage. So therefore, I can use bullying tactic there. I can decide for uphold some moral, standards, now that negotiation day, and try for imbibe a godly kind of principle. Say, no, I'm not going to bully this. But clearly, you get the advantage, and the same is true about the APC and the SLPP in these ongoing negotiations. The SLPP holds a lot of the assets then now they earn. They get almost unlimited resources. They get the security on site. They get the national purse, finance on side, and many other things then. One call on the judiciary, they've got it on side. The policy way they negotiate them, in this case, Dr. Samura / APC, they not get all of these. And Fambulem, when I listen to this is of interest. The truth here is, Malabio be non Nankashi APC. What's in Nankashi? I mean, it not be really get time for the All People's Congress because it be not finish them off, both within the ambit of the law. And I know they say the law was used on a fair basis for limit the actions of the APC or use it against them. But the same thing is true because the current government is in charge of one key component of government or governance, which is the justice system, the judiciary. This is a place where you will have to go if you seek redress. But then if it is under the hands of somebody who will not intend for be impartial, and there lies the problem. There lies the problem. All ten this person is partial against you, and this is the justice system. Interpreting the laws, they get justice system where they interpret the laws for favor. Then, and they talk about the ruling party. So APC is in a conundrum here. Family, if you understand. Would they talk as if APC has got this mighty wherewithal? No. SLPP, Julius Madabio, then subdue APC. And I repeat the word, subdue. And I mean SUBDUE, subdue the APC many a times over before the elections. Yes, they did. So once they don't do that, they don't subdue the All People's Congress before the elections. They went into the elections, then proved the same thing. They muzzled the APC. Coercion, intimidation, and you name it. We've spoken about this many times. After the elections, the results went in favor of the incumbent, as pronounced by the Chief Electoral Commissioner, who now has got a problem of inconsistency and an issue of no confidence, because what he pronounced people, a large number of people just does not agree with that. These are all facts. But then all of this play to the advantage of the ruling government. Now, here is the thing. Having said this, if the APC, and the only thing where the APC get now the international backing, and the international backing in a sense not mean say that the international people in the back directly, they are only backing them because then are the negotiator of peace, tranquility, and equality as at this time na the country. That's why they are being backed, because in a conversation, negotiation, you need somebody for a partner for negotiate with. So these internationalist people, now then they broker the peace among them, because right now there's feud in the family. Feud in the family means APC, SLPP, they are in feud. They are locked in palaver. That's what's going on now. So the international community come between. We see waiting happen for tell you say the SLPP on Julius Madabio, not almost nothing, and especially when they come within. Because why? They are calling the shots. Now then they call the shots. So even after the election results were being announced, where everybody they go get out of their party offices. We saw the SLPP office. Then supporters were there very jubilant and left to their own caprices. But then at the opposition end of things, armed men in uniform, official uniform, storm the party headquarters of the opposition party, open fire, and kill, at least we know say they kill one person, if not two. And this was an innocent lady. We, of course, it is support the party. I won't believe, of course, I've got no proof of this, but I won't believe say they support the party. But what we do know that she was a professional nurse who was assigned to that building for help with medical issues regarding party supporters, or if any emergency for goodness sake were to happen on that surrounding day. She lost her life on that day. And the point that where they try to make is, even though all cameras were trained in on Sierra Leone from the international press and physically been there with reporters, journalists, presenters, bloggers, they were all there. Yet still, we see the action we unveil. As a people, we don't even care. As a government, we don't even care. They went there and opened random firemen in uniform. Now you tell me if you negotiate with Posse were able for do this and get away with them, able for asking question, yeah, and then get away with them. What else can you do? Which brings me to the point of the negotiating partners, the democratic guarantors, when are in the All People's Congress they count on now, because the All People's Congress hasn't got a power within, except them willing for wake up hundreds of thousands of their supporters to some kind of an uprising. I'm not calling for this, by the way. I'm just being theoretical. Let me understand this, please. But away from that, the international community then continue for support the process, not necessarily the APC, the process of elections, which is under question. And the people that we put money there. And we see how social media try for twist this again for me for APC. Well, okay, then put money there, but 99% of the money we been there. Now we, in other words, the government, now we put on there. Well, even if we agree with that, and these other people then put 1%, then 1% get condition. Then 1% get condition, and that condition there, the president and the ruling party has failed for meet that condition there. Hence, penalties have been attached. But let we know veer off. So we now see say Samura Kamara in hands are limited, because some people in the talk as if, well, Samura Kamara, you know, he actually challenged them people there. But of course he can. What will be the outcome in the absence of the international community? Una tell me when we waiting will be the outcome in the absence of the international community. Again, with the example Warongiso. On the day where the whole world cameras were trained on Sierra Leone, specifically Freetown, specifically na Central, okay? Can you imagine this? So you really not get a partner of peace, but how for do. And we all know, say, if you've been left to the caprices of the party alone, we are the supporters. They said this publicly, and there is something it's called precedent. We don't see it don't happen before. Marabio be not easily feeling a spot, and they threw some referendum cooked up just like the elections and feeling a spot then they. But of course, whilst you cannot do this under the law, I make us say if I be cook them and make them appear, because waiting up to the election again, let's not forget, lawfully not supposed to happen, but it happened, and they try for justifying using the law. So the same could have been true of waiting at the talk about. So the Marabio government has got a negotiating partner, but this negotiating partner in hand is limited. So there gives rise to a possibility of meeting privately. After all, meeting privately in the circumstances we I just described is not tantamount to foul play or sellout at all. So possibly this could be one of the things that happen, and then it's been misinterpreted on the outside. As, oh, we don't tell una not trust this man. The question here is, now who that they say so? If we get chance for vet the one the way they say so, we don't tell una not trust this man, and will turn out to be enemies of his, antagonists of his. There is a remote possible, not even remote, that he's negotiated for an amicable outcome, a just and lasting solution to this problem. He could be negotiating for that, but his hands or the card the way they deal, they are limited. So how do you maneuver and manage your way for keep your head above water, where you they have a conversation with somebody, we get so much asset na the disposal. We get for imagine that Dr. Samura Kamara has only got a finite, some people then go call them. In other words, a limited in scope or in size number of people and where Dr. Samura can use as partners or to negotiate with. Very, very limited. And these people then, now from the outside, then wage Boku power, where they show up Dr. Samura Kamara for continued negotiation without being bullied. Even when the lady is being bullied, but not to an extent. I hope so when get this picture. This is serious. So Dr. Samura gets a very limited number of negotiating partners then, which makes say you got to be careful how they negotiate. And now waiting and part, they already get what they want. But there are conditions where somebody they support you. Because let's have go get reasons why they support you. So you also need for accede to that. And acceding to that, let's say, for example, let me use the government as an example. The government is already in power. Yes, they are going through difficulties in terms of sanctions and embargo and threats here and there. But at the end of the day, they're still in a power. So their needs and wants can be met whilst they're in a power. Electricity, they will have 24/7. Fan go blow them, air condition go blow them. Petrol in vehicles, movement of them and a family up and down. That not a problem. Food, money not a problem because they get access to money so they can go and buy, regardless of the price. So a person we get a clout today on a negotiating table can remain recalcitrant, can remain, like can double down. Say, well, I don't agree with this, or I don't agree with that, and get wide pool for choose from. Whereas you were there up against them, the APC has got a limited choice. You can use bellicose language. You can remain belligerent. Where is it going to take you? Where is it going to take you? It's not going to take you anywhere. So the APC can do all of that, but it's not going to take the APC anywhere. Belligerent, braggadocio, browbeating. At the end, pan waiting. Now, you get the security forces. Now you get the Ministry of Finance. Now you get the judiciary. Now you get the streets. Again, you go back to accept you're willing for capsize your country, which I'm not calling for, then maybe you have an edge. So going back into those conversations, these are the kind of thing that way you will expect. So Pasamura is limited. It accounts on the goodwill of the internationalist side of things for help him for negotiate this thing and bring and come to an end. How does it come to an end again where you get person we no fear any God? We're not ready for go anywhere yet. And you also know say that the APC, for accomplish their aim in terms of the conversation, they need partners them where they can work with. Okay? They need partners them where they need for secure their own interest. We go back them up and secure their interest. It is a very, very critical thing. And they need a more effective and lethal partners. And they do have a few. Get the United States, for example. But Famulem, we need to understand, say, even the United States, they also get their own priority and then get their own interest. So those two things that I deal with and quickly before I continue where I've been there. So the United States interest in a political world, geopolitical world, is waiting and want or waiting and see to the goodness of their own country, or waiting at their policy, especially foreign. What's their foreign policy? What does it say? Now, after you don't understand what he say, then you can walk towards that. So if the foreign policy, Marabio is respecting and honoring that foreign policy, then Marabio can do a few things in which they can look away on the other side. Doesn't seem like this is the truth at this time, but we want for belief so. Okay, we really want for belief so, because the foreign policy defines the policy of the country internationally, the foreign policy of the country. So you talk about interest, that could be, there could be a potential interest of the United States now a country, and mostly we know say the leadership of these countries can make their interest and they, or can provide their interest and they make them available. Now once they are available, the rest is history. They really don't care. They really, really don't care. So we know say, like I say, the party or People's Congress, they need partner for negotiate. They need a partner we can, secure their own interest, whilst themselves they also look after their own interest. So the United States looking after the interest of the All People's Congress, not on a personal level, because after all, now they represent the people. What do they really represent? What do they represent? Now, when you know what they represent, then if it's fair enough, then the international world can help for defend that, defend them policy then 40. And as long as it in tandem with theirs, not 100%, but at least to some degree, then we'll help you for push that. And this is exactly what we see they play out in the country. So we need for understand, again, if I can repeat, that Dr. Samura, they walk on a tightrope. Not to as much as people and go one time for let you operate. For example, now for vex. But even if you vex, you begin use belligerent language, coarse language, browbeating, chest beating. It's not going to take you anywhere because you're not in power. And if you not begin the international people the way they support the people via you, you will be nothing, because why? Again, Marabio will be not quiet you down. Marabio are done. If physically do that, if violate the Sierra Leonean people, their sanctity, their interest, those were violated. These are facts. Before the elections, after the elections, he muzzled them. He muzzled the media. No one can really talk about the alternative except social media platform such as ours, where they try to provide information to we people. So at this point, say APC not get much leverage now a negotiating table. Let's really understand this. So when the US invite Dr. Samura, not only Dr. Samura, the elite class, the ruling class, to a dinner, and this is what happens in dinners of this kind. These are government officials. These are opposition. And the current climate in our country is very, very toxic, very divisive. So luckily, we go get people of international stature, international assignment, where they try for bring normalcy to a country by helping we for bridge the gap, both the left and the right, both the red and the green, or green and red. Because burning bridges does not really help. It only they help for exacerbate situations. Mending fences, bridging gaps, now in the consolidate and solidify a nation, not the other way around. So therefore, the APC need for work with these people for arrive at a just and lasting solution. If the ambassador invite the All People's Congress, he will come to, to a dinner. Well, how on earth can you say no? It's not like you cannot say no, But no in the diplomatic circle will be like snubbing, especially under the conditions we exist right now. So you snub the invitation because potentially you are upset with the invite. They possibly invite you, you're upset with them, the stance they wouldn't take. So therefore, that invite when they invite you for kind of attend an event in which the creme de la creme of the country political ruling class or opposition will be there, which is an opportunity as well for have a conversation, and then you refuse for go. But tell me now, you APC, how you go refuse for go to that kind of business day where the people the way they help for guide you back, where they help for provide pressure on the other side? Because again, forget me not that I tell you say, Malabi not be get any respect for the APC. You know, say he can deal with them because he get the power, he get the money, he get the judiciary, and all of the other components them will make him very powerful in an executive presidency. He has all of it. The APC one is really, really limited. APC, as I understand, not even get resources. Because that's one huge factor for let you continue for consolidate gains and bring you people and come together. Everything like logistics cost money. And if you run a political party where apparently not the biggest and the most ready with the most registered number of members, then of course it also comes at a cost. And now that the party is so extremely divided, it makes them even worse. That when situation of this kind come on, say, oh, the parcel out to, you get people without any question, no much ado, they amplify and straighten in different fora. And then before you know, it's international news. That news is gone viral. And sometimes the data or the origin of the story, just you don't suffer no one out in the background, just they admire in handwork, even though in a negative way, and they smile that he or she done it, waiting and set out for do, they done it. So the president, I mean, the APC gets a limited, hand on this. So if they go meet, when they meet, anytime anything that can happen, they can meet on the side because the table looks like sit down about 4 or 5 people and they una no one for let they hear what una they talk. Or you can smart up. If, for example, the president been there and somebody want to have conversation with the president and the president go to toilet, you can put your timer on and then you don't believe saying now the president in a toilet. When the president they come out, you they grab, they make like say you they go because you want to engage them and then maybe you want to meet on the way. Until una sabi una self, una just they pass by una self like enemies, there'll be smiles, there'll be handshakes. And with the speed of cameras now, per second, they capture every little image. Per second, per millimeter of a second, they capture them. Then you understand what can happen. That at the shake the president in hand, there's a smile on my face. We are not at war. And after all, the president now they meet. And that is sent out, we can doctor them. And then they say, hey, but una see the smile with the president. Such was the situation with Dr. Moina Senge and Dr. Samura Kamara. The United States Embassy invited them to a dinner. And according to some, of course, everybody entitled to their opinion, he should not have gone to the dinner. I take a different view that the United States is one of the key negotiators in the ongoing conversations where they take place. If they invite you for dinner, this is now an extension. These are all extensions of waiting to happen in a bigger picture. So the new ambassador come, he gets an opportunity for through a dinner, one of the biggest embassies in town, through a dinner. So all the diplomatic calls them a doyen of this and that, they all come under that auspices day of the United States. But it's a state, I mean, it's a dinner that he invite una to. So una sabi una self. X they talk to White Togo, they meet Benin and then they talk about Ukraine, Nigeria and Ghana, they meet on the side, and foreign minister or the leadership, foreign minister, the ambassador in this case, they talk about the coup in Niger and waiting they intend for do or how they go for. These things happen all the time inside diplomacy. Now, only in we own country that we continue for complain because somebody meets somebody and shake their hand. This is not a war situation in which guns are being, fired, bullets are being fired. No, not to that situation there. This is not a diplomatic circle in which people wear suit and necktie, not camouflage, highly polished shoes, okay, well done hair, coiffed, if na woman them, men well shaped, looked after. Meet people of your kind, rank, and caliber, shake hands, talk business, exchange business cards. This is the situation. So you cannot say, of course, it's up to you. You do how much detriment for saying no to the United States. But why would you want to say no when they're helping you for broker peace? And then are you back? They are carrying water for you to a point where there's a public spat between the government and the diplomatic corps. In this case, the United States, in which the president is actually calling out the United States for meddling in his country's affairs. Of course, this is something I disagree with. Because waiting they try for doing for play on we minds. Yes, these countries do meddle in people's affairs. They do. They really do. Since 2001, the United States has meddled, or it don't meddle, inside more than 215 countries then in terms of regime change. Since 2001, the United States don't meddle inside other people and country. 215 times and counting. Regime change, them because they don't like them and one have they work in their interest, so forth and so on. They've done that. Even Russia, where they accuse. Russia has only done this 5 times within the last 7 years or within the last 10 years. Whereas since 2001, the US, 215 times and counting. And then do thousands of miles away from them borders. From them borders. In Iraq, in Syria, in Libya, in Afghanistan, thousands and thousands of miles away from them border. They pull president, then replace them with other one them, then invade other people and country and destroy them. Libya, Syria, Iraq, and we can go on and on. Whereas the Russians have done it only 5 times, and the 5 times they've done it, now they border for securing border because they feel threatened. So you make the comparison and don't know, run away from that. So the APC need for work together with them people there where they broker peace, and the need for arrive at some, justifiable conclusion for save the people from further suffering. The APC, I repeat, they get for work with each and everybody in the pursuit of peace. Famulem, this is not the TNN TV Media Empire. We talk to the 2nd of October. I bring with a massive greetings. I'm in Prince Emil Koma. We see we get very few, I think only 16 conversations in the chat room. We are pleased with that, by the way. But we come with the second part of the program. So I ask Una, please don't touch that dial as we want to do the second part quickly and the second and final part. Okay, Famblem, welcome to the second and final part of the program. I welcome you to the second and final part of the program. So, as I've been say, the All People's Congress Party, they get a number of people for work with. They're working on a tightrope. So for come out and begin for blame, the leadership of the party without considering any other factor, them to me is a stretch. And owing to the fact that the party gets so many enemies than within, I know they talk about externally, and they talk about only within. It give rise to the fact, say, we need for actually ask yourself, what is exactly happening? Waiting to happen. Okay. I watch social media, you say, oh, the MPs them are going to take up their seats. Well, what's wrong if they take up their seats? How long do you expect this stalemate, for continue? So this will have been as a consequence of conversations ongoing, or you just want let APC detach themselves, from governance, and the other people then continue for govern. Because that's not going to remove Madabio because you detach. Madabio is going to continue to rule under difficult circumstances. Under the difficult circumstances, now some of them want. So it's not about peace, it's about difficult circumstances. So the business of Dr. Samura Kamara and his team is to negotiate a final solution to the current problem is. And for accuse them, of sellout, I don't know whether it's possible for let Samura Kamara alone make a decision. I really don't understand this or know this. Because waiting me think procedurally is assuming that they go even meet Madabio privately. So they have a private conversation. Yeah. In the end, Samura Kamara will have to go and meet the executive of the All People's Congress. There's an executive, by the way. So this is not a solo movement. You can go do solo thing, but in the end, for a decision to be arrived at, you get to go meet the executive of the party. And in this case, it's only of the party, but also you go meet the other brokers, then the arbitrators, then the EU, 26 nations, the United States, which has been so overtly, verbally outspoken on this issue, then call out the Julius Madabio government, then call and say this is almost equivalent to daylight robbery of the election results. Now, as a consequence of the questions around the election results, that's how they are imposing these sanctions that they are beginning to put on the country, which is just the beginning. So how Dr. Samura they go sell out? I don't understand. Somebody really need for educate me. Because if you go do so, it do so at your own peril. Because is it going to work? So he agree with Madabio and Madabio begin for work. But how does he work with the international community? How does he? It can be difficult for let it happen because the international community don't see for what it is. And therefore, then they support the opposition who is representing the people of Salome in this entire exercise. So Dr. Samura Kamara alone, this thing not deny. Anything we go meet, a need for come back and can talk under the executive, then discuss them and arrive at a decision. It's not a dictatorship. In other words, he's been accused of dictatorship. So now in one way they want things. I don't believe this. I must say this for sure. I don't believe this. Did he meet with the president privately? Went and called secretly? Of course, I won't rule that out. They will have met even several times. Maybe now you didn't know, but they met several times. They will even have a conversation casually, because they know themselves. This man worked for Madabio back in 1996. And they know each other. This is the ruling elite. They are all corrupt, by the way, if I may just add that. All of them. And they know each other. They know their strengths. They know their weaknesses. So, yes, they can meet and then they say Madabio to Samura. But fellow, go on me, man, BBK. And he say, fellow, what's in go on? With a little bit of a laugh. Madabio can do the same thing to Samura. But fellow or Brabi, waiting they go on for use them Tanges Creole them. Brabi, waiting they go on. What you did, what you did, Papa? Tell me that. And then Samura Kamara, bo, Oman, you know, try at all. You know, say this business here, let me clinch this business. You turn around, you use Babati, you know, yeah, you want to take them from me. But fair, you know. But Osamu Bona for forget this business, but you know, say, what's in the age now? You know, 70, 72, now go you go so fellow. How can bog this business for man then? Take you small thing, and they cut you small thing, you and your family, and you know, have a great time for the rest of your life. You and you grandpicking them and what have you. But we have to move on. Well, of course, I was just joking with all of that. Don't take it seriously. So anyway, me not see how Samura Kamara is guilty in this case. Okay, let's go to some of the things they want. One, because they say the parliament they can't sit down. The parliament they can't sit down. So therefore, Dr. Samura guilty. But of course, there are ongoing negotiations. And you therefore forgive because some people feel say the ongoing negotiations, it means say there'll be a rerun. This is not the hope of some people. There'll be a rerun of elections. But it's not a bad feeling for hope as such. But what I can ask people and when they hope on that level, now for left bit of a gap, not get close to the bridge, left a bit of a gap because it's a little bit far-fetched. A little bit far-fetched. Because once you don't rig the elections, you tell me that the demands of the All People's Congress, if met by the Sierra Leone People's Party and as demanded or backed by the international community for if not for capitulation, in other words, turn about the one old mother bill in regime. So in other words, you agree say when I cheat now been cheat, or calling a lie now you lie, and there are a whole lot of other consequences if you were to admit this. This is why I believe say this is not going to happen as the way how most people in the look at. No, it's not going to happen that way. For Mohamed Kone for pull the actual results, say you know, well I've been keep this result on there, you know, yeah, I mean this one I've been read, but this is not the real one, disaggregated police station by police station. Because what in they do is they expose the system, how corrupt the system is, how the system mislead millions of people, how the system not get no respect for law and the international community, the effort, and how simply Mohamed Kone is a cheat, and how the president knows the truth, but then he back him up just because he wants to be president. This is what he will come to. So that's why I don't believe that this will happen. And I will say one thing again. I believe all of this is geared towards 2028. I get a few friends who believe say there is going to be a rerun of the elections. Well, that's not impossible. That is not impossible. But that is a bit of a stretch for me. Normally, that's what's supposed to happen. But before that they happen, a series of other things that we need for happen. And once that series of things then they begin to happen, because I am a huge observer, I will pick that up immediately and I will come online and I will make it known. But until then things then they begin to happen, I believe that this situation in which people are expectant is not going to happen at all. In other words, a rerun of an election, there has to be a cause for the rerun, not to wait till we say no more. There has to be evidence backed on why there should be a rerun. So yes, we are suspecting, and some of us have become overly convinced now that this election was stolen. Because if me go school and my teacher they grade me at the end of a semester or a term, even though it don't give me my overall percentage, but I know say on the report card, it give allowance for show how I arrive at that percentage this under me various subjects then what I take. Step by step, polling station by polling station, for convince the people and we get for read the report card when I bring come to me mama and me daddy and then look up, oh, percentage good. So they're able for summarize which subjects you're good at, which one them you need improvement on, which one for focus on. That's the entire exercise. Not just, copy something and then you heap and give 8 million people, Bo Mohammed, you back, try. But again, if this is going to happen, this is the way it's going to happen. We therefore begin for Siam, the telltale signs. It's like if you get for see, then when they wake go hunt, animal, the way they chase them part them within a bush where they hunt, they're able to see footprints. And then footprints they follow. Not only follow them, they're able to determine which animal get that footprints they. Because you don't want to go run behind leopards or or elephants. You go like for run behind, here Fritambo, DI, and that kind of business in there. But anyway, on a more serious note, this is exactly what it is. So Samura they work out on a tightrope. So you get for negotiate with them people there. Why, if the US Embassy invite her, you shouldn't go? Why not for go? Why enough for team up with David Sanger and talk? This is part of all the process. Because again, there is an underlying factor in which they want to send a positive message to the electorate. Say, we're not there at war, baby. We are having conversations. Despite this is green and I am red, or the other way around, we dey talk. And the talk where we dey talk, now for let we find an amicable end to this impasse so that we go help for alleviate the suffering of Una. Well, I know say some family and then now war face now in the want with Samura. No, and then they take this. And on whose basis? Whose basis where they go challenge the people and say, well, and then they take this? Because Madabio don't have your time. It don't show how many times. And I repeat again for probably one last time, if not to be the international community, Madabio will have moved on. That's something where you calculate and plan. Remember, he's an army man, okay? And we have to understand what the army man they do. Remember, we can tend for overlook him, but everybody getting strength and weakness. Remember also that he's led a palace coup, which means that he knows how to plan. He knows how to plan. I mean, you have to give him some respect in that regard. Yes, he know handle the country fine for the last 5 years, he know handle the economy fine and things like that, and what have you. This may not be his strength. And in team way gets around them, they are poor. Nobody know initiate policy where will change the welfare of we people through economic, good. We're able to change with people their lifestyle. No. Projection of economic growth as we know now is being cut down. I don't think there's even going to be economic growth. If they tell me say economic growth, I'm going to doubt that. We get two currencies side by side, and today now the same thing exchange rate wise. Why was it? Up till now, we don't understand how much money was spent, to fix this new currency, and why many months on and still they run side by side. We don't say elections being largely for do with this because you need funding. So the idea that you are not being queried, and I make a tell when I say back, the man no have a plan. It take temple still or come out because it not be one that inconvenience the of auditing. So now as we speak, we don't know how much was spent. Even by the money is standard for go print new money. We don't know how much money they in circulation and etc. We don't even know how much debt we owe by now. And it's growing. And yet you get some big fool where not been things say the country they in a stalemate or impasse, or where they talk nonsense, complete nonsense on social media without a feeling for the country, about people and for go without understanding how government function. Why you think the government been promised 2 million jobs the last 5 years? Needless for me for say how many were created? How many? Waiting at the inflation rate now in the country, waiting at the value of the money, where every day there's no price control. How can our people survive? And we know this, that it's difficult because the president himself at one point come out and say, I can't help my people anymore. Yet they don't promise we 500,000 jobs, 500,000 jobs. I mean, listen, government are the largest employer in our country in the first place. How many people are in employment now? You they create 500,000 jobs and you talk about this. Let me help the government within the space of 5 years. Okay, within the space of 5 years. What are the prospects? Because some of them you can see in the immediate now. And in fact, if you come out this now, if you come out this now because you don't factor this out through developmental aspiration, creation of opportunities, and through policies. But none, then just say them because they're used to just saying it, which is propaganda. But not who they talk about again. When they talk about Dr. Samura Kamara, what's wrong if he meets the president privately? Of course, privately now don't become secretly. So he meets him secretly. When you negotiate with person, una they meet secretly. In fact, law will go to secretly. Una they meet secretly many a times. Because on that level, not to all thing una they talk, everybody need for no. Not to all thing una they talk. So yes, there's a possibility that Samura Kamara met the president secretly many times. Let me say you go sell out. Because at the end of the day, you still get for come back to your executive body and can tell them, now other than this kind talk this sweet, and the people and we opposed to Samura Kamara. Even me self did not accuse me of supporting Dr. Samura. I had an opportunity of taking a photo or having a photo up with him. And I wish I can get the same opportunity of having a photo up with the president, the first lady, and many others, honest by Kuruma. I wish I could have an opportunity so I can keep on the archive. So Samura Kamara had an opportunity. And that photo, they went viral on different platforms, by the way. Different platforms. Some people and refuse to acknowledge them. But if you read the amount of calls they get or messages they sent to me and how sarcastic some of them were, people that were overall shocked. And imagine me release the photo. What if not somebody else be release them? We'll be talking about this guy. Oh, this then and now. Hey, Samura. Oh, this, that, and what have you. I just released a photo up with the leader of the opposition. Now, the same way if I can get opportunity with how you call him, Fatima Bio, I will have done the same thing. I will have kept it in my archive. When I feel like, or if I feel like, I go release them. Same thing with the president. And I get few with other people. I remember years ago, I went to one APC event, I think at Bristol. And I take picture with Kemosise, and that picture they leaked out. Then they not to me, oh dear, that also became an issue. This guy, will they talk him? APC, this, that, and what have you. Same thing now in the use so with Dr. Samura Kamara in private conversations with the chief minister. And these people, and they talk all the time, me and Dr. Moine Senge, hands in pocket, the man is listening, giving Dr. Senge, at least now me read from the picture, and I know there are few, but one of the one they want to focus on most, outside he keenly they listen to what the man they say with a smile on his face. Now, what's wrong with that? What's really wrong with that? Also, if you want to vex and tell Dr. Senge, Bobra, una not serious, but just get out from here. Then if you do that, who do you negotiate with? Where do you stand? When other people and self they advise you, now the United States, now in they advise you, now in on a backbone, now in make the president vex with them, now in make way it go na the United Nations, the way how we go talk, it forgets in at the international stage, it taking domestic politics and can go na the international stage. Because he upset with the international community, i.e. the United States. He is. Because why? They are supporters of Sierra Leone via the All People's Congress. So now the position that the way Dr. Samura Kamara they in, Dr. Samura Kamara cannot afford to say no to the United States. If the ambassador invite him, he can say no, that's an opportunity. And now, with the president, we need to understand, say, the ambassadors accredited to the capital Freetown, then they as a friendly people towards the people, the country, and the government of the republic. They represent the country and the republic day. When an ambassador is going into a country, then provide them with an accreditation. And that ambassador, they go presenting accreditation to the government. And now they go tell them, say, well, the government send me and rah, and I'm happy to be here and this and that. The government of that country, the way they receive them, they provide them with credentials. That credential, then are some things that way they inside where you for honor. It's basically understood in diplomatic circle that yes, you represent something I have on so, and at this now how we get for day. If we not happen for this so again, that credential can be withdrawn by the country. Recent example, it's happened many a times. Recent example, now that one day will happen in Niger, although disgracefully for France as Missiam. The people in take over. You're so used to interference and the people in country that when the people ask you, remember, the French ambassador was not initially expelled. Waiting and do, they invite them for conversation because diplomatic circle back. Now, so it can happen, they invite them for discussion. That discussion where they invite him for, he turned him down. He refused to turn up for say, well, I not recognize you now. Well, what you do in the country? The person where you want claim say you recognize is other than detention. It's not to your business again. Leave the people country alone. So it give the junta a time now for tell and say, well, you are no longer desirable in this country. Right now, your visa has been withdrawn. You are in this country illegally, and you need for leave now. If you not leave, you could be arrested. You can be arrested like any common criminal. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron, Bakam, say yes, the ambassador not get right for leave because they don't recognize this, and Bazoum not recognize, and that usual BS, and want to restore democracy. Don't restore democracy 60 years, you did it. And the people and resources, they no more, now they hustle, they care go. They make billions of profit, while the vast majority of the people continue to suffer in abject poverty. But not that we talk about today, but the point here is that accreditation that was presented to the government of Benin, even though they've been overthrown, they still exist. The new people then control the country, then withdraw them and then summon you. That's what they do. In French, they call them dimanche. Dimanche means when you do something, then they can't give you a dress down. That's what dimanche is. Can't tell you this thing where you do will not let come and what have you. If you're unable to reach a compromise day, then they expel you. Persona non grata, you need for leave the country. Marabio can do the same thing to the United States ambassador. Although he going to do so at his own peril because this one are elephant load. But the idea is as a sovereign country, he can, if relationship between the two countries get that bad and it can no longer be mended, he can expel the ambassador, he can withdraw the credential. Okay, we need to understand this. Thirdly, some people are openly calling for coup plot. Coup plot, coup plot. Goodness me. We have to be really desperate for call for coup plot. Because you don't know who that they initiate the coup, within that coup they go mean. You don't know. Because the people who are calling for a coup plot are people largely who belong to the opposition party, the All People's Congress. So they want the Mother Bio regime out so badly that they are calling for a coup plot. Few things. Calling for a coup plot is seditious, is treasonous, and we know this. Somehow, some of us have become emboldened for the call out that publicly on TV or on media sources. Then, to me, that is completely wrong. It's treasonous. That's calling for the usurping of power. Okay, and it's an arrestable offense. Not so because you're far away from there. The thing here is about the Mother Bio government is I don't believe say again it lose legitimacy all the time, and especially when the United States don't to BNU. But if you get people abroad where they they call for coup plot and etc. That's so wrong, and especially if those kind of president then get influence, that's very wrong. But the bottom line is, why would you want to call for a coup when not you get for determine whether they make the coup and waiting for happen afterwards? Because you are doing this in behalf of your party. It makes no sense. You cannot just be desperate as such. Okay? So two things. You're sure of waiting for happen. Why call for it? Except again, if you hate the regime so badly, you want them gone, you don't care about what is to come. All you know now is for let them they come on. Two, that's seditious, that's treasonous. You can't, you just can't. Okay. Family, what we need now are serious negotiations. We actually need serious negotiations and negotiators them for bring this whole thing to an end. We want something of substance, not just something where not just yap. Just talk. Yeah. The time for talking is almost over. I know say some people in oh, be 6 months, 9 and in January, wait and see. I said earlier on that the president will use this for continue for consolidate imposition. We also therefore keep at the back of our minds that the international community then get waiting they want. In other words, that's about interest. If their interests are met, they will look the other way. And I can give you a series of examples. So even though they can talk about democracy, but they can get a despot in that country where just they do their bidding, doesn't really matter. Saddam Hussein ruled Iraq for more than 20, 25 years, and he was a strong ally of the United States. The US Defense Minister then, Donald Rumsfeld, the late Donald Rumsfeld is known to have met him on a few occasions to sell him weapons, including chemical weapons. Because by then, the arch enemy, Iran, been defeated Iraq. Millions of people died on that war day. It lasted for over 10 years in Saddam Hussein. Well, as soon as Saddam Hussein began to talk about the Palestinian state against Israel and decided to build a weapon, an atomic weapon, nuclear weapon, Saddam Hussein became an enemy of the United States. And there were two wars fought. 1991, where Saddam Hussein initially invaded Kuwait, and the United States under George H. Bush Sr. invaded Iraq, pushed Saddam Hussein back from Kuwait, bring him come back, but stopped short from overthrowing him. From 1991 until 2003 March, where again they make a decision under George Herbert Bush, under him picking George Walker Bush Jr., we now lead the forces, them NATO forces, thousands of miles away from home, because they need for go quell down Saddam Hussein, we allegedly, which was all false, with weapons of mass destruction, which was all false, and go overthrow Saddam Hussein and destroyed a country with thousands of culture and literature. And they talk about biblical culture. Some things that when you read in the Bible, the places where they were or it happened, not Iraq. Iraq, a advanced nation with a literature and science base of its own, highly educated people, destroyed. Today, look at them, all because of some other nation. So yes, these people can interfere in other people's country, but in my own case, I don't think this was interference. Remember the examples then I don't name. Why I say so? Can I just justify this, please? So we sign up to treaties and agreement, and I think I'll talk about this during some part of the show. When they go through, we interregnum, we war basically, we civil conflict, we lasted for over 10 years, in which a conservative estimate said over 75,000 of the people were killed, and thousands of others had their limbs chopped up, which was one of the most gruesome things for see, because people live with a scar up to this day. We get for can intervene at the international community, we can help for bring this war to an end. Once they bring the war to an end, or just before the war come to an end, series of agreements were signed, because remember, they were belligerent partners. When I say partners, not in a positive sense in this case, in fact, opposition to each other. This was a political issue in the country. And because we could not get an agreement then, it turned out to be a war. We decimate the country badly. And for let we come on inside that war, they will be for call outside them for can help we. So we hear about democratic guarantors, we hear about we democratic partners. These are the kind of people, the international community, countries, i.e. organizations, the IMF, the World Bank, and you name it, Irish Aid, etc., etc. And then other countries, them, such as the countries, them, we get organizations there, because these organizations are soft arm of them power. The United States, for example, is a very powerful country. You can't go about, just dropping bombs on every country for make them for concede or come on side, but you can use other methods them for bring them come into its realm or sphere of influence by encouraging them, for example, through something where you go call bribery. I offer you a loan here or a grant free. But while they say free, free only means you're not going to pay back physically the money. But if you agree to this, here are this is what we are going to do. So basically, we agreed to these terms and conditions for bring we back into the community of nations, bring sanity to the country, bring the war to an end, bring peace and justice and tranquility to we people, raise we people them from the dire strait where they find themselves in, improve we economy, and live and let's live. So now you challenge that kind of thing and they by going against waiting you be signed up to or waiting we be signed up to. So we've had transitions since that war end, because this is now one critical aspect of the entire thing. Transitions in the sense that when you lose an election, you should be able for transfer power, because this is a big deal, and especially in Africa, where you see one group of people and they transfer power to a different group of people. And in other words, one party lost power, but get, the courage, the strength, and the fortitude for transfer that power day to another. Imagine for lose that power day, for give to another. But it happened in our country several times. Tijan Kaba to Honest Kooma, that's not after the war. Because remember, I said these were all the problems. We had one party rule in the 1980s under Siaka Stevens. Siaka Stevens ready for pass away. Before they pass away, pass on to Joseph Saidu Momo. Joseph Saidu Momo hold the reins of power, run the country. Of course, the country was already, bankrupt and Joseph Momo, he just got help for hastening the process. And then the coup of Valentine Strasser and Madabiu and others. And we see all the things that will happen between that period of time, Johnny Paul. Yeah, these are the rumblings that can happen when the states they try for fen in directions. So Boku people then die, property then burn and lost. Waiting grab from the ashes of them losses then they now really important. The dead is gone. And we pray that their souls, rest in perfect peace. But what really matters is the living. The living, now we when they talk so. Now we where they go about with everyday business. Now we will get for pay rent, we will get for pay mortgage, we will get for pay poda money, we get for go buy fish, we get for cook, we get for care picking them on a school. Now we not the living, so the living matters. So live and let's live. That's why there has to be a fairness in terms of how we do with justice system, so that people can feel a sense of hope, not to a sense of despair. But that's the state that we in. So that make us say we need serious negotiator of them, and we need substance at this time. We don't talk too much. And substance now we need. We need a situation or talk where they solve the problem we currently find ourselves in. We know say the problem is political, so the solution it has to be political. I'm not sure very many people would disagree with me on that. And on this basis, the issue of trust is huge, and this is where the problem is. Country is divided. Same politicians then don't help for divide the country so much that there is a major problem now on how we unite this with small country. Yeah, we don't divide between south, southeast, north, northwest, and Freetown, urban, Freetown, rural, and etc. This is difficult, and politicians then continue for do this just for will themselves in power. We have to find a way around this. It's not too late yet. It's difficult, but it's not too late. What we need for do in a conversation, we need for build trust. Every conversation, every negotiation, not trust. Because the reason, first of all, why we are on opposite sides of the table is because there's no trust and confidence between us. That much we will agree with. And so therefore, for find a way out of that, we need for begin, first of all, for begin a trust building process, a status of agreement, where we need for agree on. Say this is going to be we guiding principle going forward. Luckily for we get people that way they help with for broker this. We know say there are people where they actively undermine the process, and they talk about the ongoing process now. Because if you not play to your advantage, you will definitely try for undermine them. And we know that. That's for a fact. You get people that will not want peace at all. Because family, APC put a condition down. I talk about just about 15 minutes ago, I believe, or if not less. Then put this condition down, say, this is what we expect to happen. In other words, we want to see the list police station by police station. And I talk about on why we not get for see that list day. Or if we see that list day, the danger we get for happen is unbelievable. Because why again, this is not common sense. If that list was to come out, that debunks everything else the government has said. The president, it brings the presidency into question, the speaker into question, the vice president into question, with parliament into question, and the ECSL into question, including its commissioner, Mohamed Kone, and all the other affiliate body them. The PPRC, for example, APA, for example, and all the other one them, we collaborate in this huge venture for deprive the people of Sierra Leone from the potential outcome we then vote for. So you see, you turn the table completely upside down, and that's going to be difficult to do because back again, there is a negative side to it. We might just get burned when the things there happen. So this is why negotiations are complex. Newsway come out, Fambulem, about Samura Kamara, they collude with Marabio. Of course, he is colluding with Marabio. The question is how? Is it in a negative way? Well, I don't know, and I don't want to think so. I'm not an insider, just from political observation and the I don't want to think so. If parliamentarians were to return to parliamentarians elect opposition ones were to return to parliament, now some people then go, oh, now make Samura Kamara been a collude, been a group and a secret meeting. No, again, I don't want to believe so because why again? They are in negotiations. The negotiation is how to bring an end to the current impasse. Bringing an end to the current impasse and fumble and let it stick now with brain not necessarily means a matter bioga for Komot and Samura Kamara Sidon. Not necessarily mean that. I know say this is the desired outcome of some, and it's difficult when I say and so, and you want for blame me, but keep your ears and your brains open. Not necessarily mean so, except if they ask again for the country for go into a second flames, bring the whole country down. But in a negotiation, they can reach agreements in which they will say, okay, this much we will accept, this we won't accept. Going forward, this is what we will do. Or probably even an interim government could be more appealing to the nation based on how divided the nation is. An interim government will take over for 6 months, which are supposed to be an ideal replacement for that thing where some people in the call for coup. No coup. An interim government will be an ideal situation with a 6 months mandate for return the country to a democratically, constitutionally elected government or elections will go elect a democratic government. I think that's appealing. So yes, so you might see APC parliamentarians going to parliament. We know say the SLPP will celebrate and there will be so much nonsense talk, rubbish talk, na social media. Oh, this, that, what have you. Don't pay attention to the chaff. Pay attention to the reality. Waiting they produce the chaff. This is where we need for pay attention. Okay? That's where we really need for pay attention. Family, I know say I've said very much, but with deficits, they're out of control. We projected economic growth is amounting to nothing. Not only nothing, because even zero get value, but when it becomes negative and the situation this will see we solve in terms of the economy, then that's really bad. That's how bad the situation is. The government is trying to grapple with problem, but he who rules with propaganda will never succeed, will never survive. I also want to make one prediction that definitely where people are not go, especially people on the other side of the argument, This is not what I intend to see as a political observer and a political scientist and a policy analyst. I see trouble ahead, except something change. It changes course. And that's something that means the economic hardship, except it changes course. If it not change course, it's obvious that there's going to be an organic and spontaneous uprising. Where am I coming from with this? It's just natural, by the way, because I'm not making this up. It's a people that's down, they will fear no fall. It will take a while, but they will feel the pinch. It will take a while, but they will feel the heat. They can't eat. Not all of them they take kush because I understand say kush they numb them so you don't even feel like eating. But not all of them. Or you won't create a state, you're made of zombies. But I shall say not. That's not going to be. As we speak, everything else is happening for those in power. That few elite. And sometimes they go within the media, we can read the one where they attack we. And we know say, not to all of them they eat safe. Some of them are just connection because Asabi somebody when the minister of Foreign Affairs, Asabi somebody when the director of petroleum. So therefore, I'm not going to allow let somebody be critical of. That's not going to stop people like us because when we speak, now the country now we talk about. Okay, so I foresee an uprising as long as the cost of living continue for escalate, in which food inflation is unbearable, in which the inflation of the national currency is unbearable. It's not helpful at all, and it's gone through the roof. Inflation of the country don't go through the roof. There's no projected economic growth because it's not going to happen, not even on zero. It's going to be negative zero, and that's the worst situation, in which there's no price control, and there's a whole plethora of problems where they cause that. The same thing is about the economy. Poor fiscal and monetary policies have led us to this. The creation of a secondary or parallel money where they go side by side with the old one. We use money for print them. Today we're not accountable to the public how much money we use, how much money in circulation, how much money we print. Whose kind of government is? And yet the people then continue for suffer. And as long as the people then continue for suffer, where the dial just they go up, and the international community stop for support you, which they've started, because visa restriction means a whole lot. And then freezing of account, which I believe will come next, it means a whole lot. The withdrawal of certain funding and grants in certain areas, which has helped governments of time past and present for alleviate, the struggle with government they face. And this is all based on the charity of Western nations. Then begin for withdraw that, it creates a big hole. That big talk where you talk, oh, we go fund we own elections, where you not get pumping, you only depend on tax, and therefore you continue for raise taxes on your people. You want tax people and for pay for their own society and they dig water well. I know they say people are not for pay tax for their oaths, but then they not to your own business have done the municipality of the place inside the host day. In other words, the local government where you have houses. But we not say they impose taxes, undue taxes, because you want to generate more income. But the more you generate more income for service, you debts, you projects them, the more they create more problems because things are just going to get more expensive and people are going to find it more difficult, if we continue for make contribution into the economy and keep the economy vibrant. And this is where poverty comes from. What I hear people and they talk about go walk, go brush farm, go cut weed yonder. It's easy for say so, but today we're not there for mechanized farming. Now I make the president in agriculture policy we'll get for talk about next. It's a poor one because the policy is a failure. When they go to Morocco, they go negotiate about owning state farms for can support state farms. In the history of nations, state farms have known to be a failure. And we know this for sure because inside many socialist states of the past, all the state business then turn out to be failures. And this one is definitely going to be a failure. We see Toma Bomb, much heralded. 6 years on, I don't know whether the rest still dip and grow, but today we not see head, we not see tail. But yet they continue for giving hope, which I call false hope, because we know how long rest this. Is it a propaganda? Because waiting me know under the All People's Congress, there was a huge research done. I don't forget the professor in name from one of we institutes them, well respected, and other foreign national companies then come and conduct research on with soil sample. You know the science does not lie. So then conduct then soil sample and some areas then when they talk about largely, also we know say we been a grow rest before, the soil is toxic. It can't on that level they no, it cannot, produce rest for feed the people, let alone like the presidency feed others. This is a fallacy and this is false. This is fake. Whoever is telling the presidency this needs to stop this and be truthful to the people of Sierra Leone. Show some love, show some respect to the people. This is not going to help. With debt, they continue to accumulate at rocket speed. So that means we did even inside more damage than we ever imagine. The outcome of any talk is for based on a win-win situation. We're not saying okay for be 50-50. When I say win-win, it sounds like 50-50. But the other side, even though they are marginalized or get less balls on the table, their side has to be respected because they get a view on the table. So don't bully them because you got the assets of state, i.e. the police, the army, the treasury. No, that will be wrong because whatever peace outcome come up from that talk day, it will be based on fakery, on fake results. Again, finally, when talk come up from Bulem, when talk come up from Bulem, we need for evaluate, we need for assess. All in talking. Don't be lazy. Alpha side way being at the height of in fame. Me get this word, this phrase. Kapu sense, not kapu word. This is magic. This particular phrase was magic. It still remains magic today, just that we no one attribute unto Ram because of course he is finished. He's a shadow of his former self. Yeah. He had this opportunity, but he became an opportunist and he lost that. I've met him, a few times, not very many, but I know the conclusion what I draw out of the. But according to Alpha Saidu, Kapu sense no Kapu word. This is philosophical. This is philosophy of a higher level where you can consider or compare to waiting the philosophers of then Socrates, and then Pluto, then they say. It makes so much sense in Salon people, and this is what I'm saying to you. Kapu sense, not Kapu word. Okay? For the understanding. A possible sin that SL people now then put out this propaganda about Samura Kamara, they meet the president secretly. And if not then do them, and it's not impossible for them to do them. If not then do them, the intent, well, of course, then succeed. Because we grab, we hold them with 2 foot and 2 hands. We have for scatter, we go viral. So that distracts me from the reality of the issue. And so I'm turning back my test. It is possible back, say, inside the same All People's Congress of which Dr. Samura Kamara is the leader, where he's got so many enemies that somebody from inside then concocts that plan day and put them out, for sell them, to the public. And of course, on social media, once you don't click, I don't go. It never comes back. Yeah. For let you shape the art because you get forget a powerful voice, a powerful megaphone, a powerful pulpit for let you able for shape their opinion in it. So yes, that's possible. So they done the damage and that's going to take a while and put Samura Kamara on the defensive. I personally reached out to a team and I told the team this is no secret that this is what is ongoing in social media and this is big. This is huge and this is gone viral. So what me think is you really need to address this issue immediately. You really need to address the issue. They agree with me. And they agree say, we will arrange a date and a time. I not give up yet. Okay, so probably they will. But at the time when the iron be hot, even though not also me they deal with on my own platform, because now that can happen. Ego don't rob we of many things in which people you might be part and parcel of the now, but you don't want to do your due diligence by finding out whether something are true. So you want to go with the flow because something they trend. So you want to go with them. So you can survive moments and it's like you fix. Whether you know how they take drug, you take your injection, or you know when they smoke, you smoke, and then it give you a fix for a while, in which you have this falsity about the situation. And once that clear off, you come down to Mother Earth for real. So we don't do that here. We wait, we try to get at the evidence. That's why at Artful we do breaking news, or even if we do breaking news, either we're very sure of resources or we know how we put them out there backed with a statement. So this is exactly what thing happen. With the hope maybe we will get Dr. Samura Kamara at some point. But again, we channel continue for remain interactive. So let me see waiting fumble then they say. Let's get to read waiting fumble and they say, okay? We like for make this thing personal. Because now we all own this platform. Yeah? And I mean that now we all own this platform. So let me go personal now with waiting people and they say by highlighting a few of we people then talk. So for begin with, we get Alfina Dauda. Hello TNN TV. Hello Sister Alfina. That's a very beautiful name you've got there. Many thanks. Slogans. Every day we see new names, which is good. Slogans. I like the name as well. Very good. I'm sure that's a pseudonym, a very good one. And hi to you, Slogans. Abu Bakar Mansare. Okay, that's Mr. Mansare all the way from Holland. Many thanks, Mr. Mansare. I'm sure you're doing well. Who do we have here? So yeah, while we wait for the next comment, Sekou John will be on the platform on Friday. They interviewed the head of the psychiatrist division of the Sierra Leone Health Services, Dr. Abdoulaye Jallo. I promise you, Fambul, he will be on the platform on this coming Friday. Okay, you alone don't forget for joining. Yeah. On Thursday. Yes, on Thursday I will be live. I get a surprise guest, a huge guest for Una, but I will keep the guest, private and confidential until Friday. Okay, but they ask Una for tune. Those of Una we tune now. Of course, we're coming to the end of this program, but I kindly ask Una, would you Una help for share this program? Secondly, Una follow we page na Facebook, which is TNN TV Media Empire 1 on Facebook. Please follow and subscribe. Also on YouTube, if you can follow we page on YouTube, we will really, really appreciate that. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Click on the bell on YouTube. Yeah? Click on the bell on YouTube. What in they mean? It means any other program, any other time we get program, it they give you notification. It tell you say we don't come on. It tell you say we don't come on. Let's see whether I'm able to continue with them contribution. Then we fumble and send. Una bear with me. System. What's wrong with the system? Zoom in so much for zoom out. Okay. Okay. Now I understand it's playing up. I wish you could have been the COTLC. Yeah. Yeah, there are a few more comments. We will try to go through a large part of them. So we'll be there to Abubakar Mansare, all the way from Holland. Let's go to brother Jerry Brown. Mr. Kroma, that press conference for Samura has been rescheduled for tomorrow. Many, many thanks for that, because before the Kana studio, Natima I've been they try for monitor, but I get chance because I've been there in between work and they try for monitor this. So I talk with few people them and they tell me say it looked like say hold the press conference. They were not outright. But many thanks for this. I really appreciate this, Mr. Brown. Thank you so much. That's Julie Jacquete. Julie Jacquete. Guli. I wonder what's that. Strange things happen on social media. What are we getting now? Una bear with me, una multitask at the multitask while I talk to una. So many messages coming in, here privately. So many messages, yeah. So just to try for figure them out. All right, so let's continue. So we get Julie Jacquete. Bonsoir, Monsieur Chroma, et mes people Salon SL. Okay, I don't quite get that, but I do the bonsoir. I know you are wishing me good evening. Equally so, bonsoir, Mademoiselle Amanatu. Ça va bien? Vous allez bien? Ça va très bien? My high school French. Many thanks for that. Thomas Cole. Hi, Mr. Chroma. Hi, Mr. Cole. Fatima Ali. Good evening. Good evening, Fatima. I mean, Fatama. Not Fatima. Fatama. Aminatu Sanusi. Amanatu Sanusi. Okay. Let's look for what somebody's saying. Amanatu Sanusi. Mariatu Anderson. Hi, Mariatu. Hi, Amanatu. How are they do? I hope all is well. Let's see. Alusain got a long one here. See what you see. Alusain Seri. I hope the Salon people and democracy will be center of whatever dialogue or negotiations that is or will be going. We want to see the disaggregated June 24 results. And there, if there's no winner, we want a redo of the election. No national government, because it will not work. Put country over party. Yes, I guess you address this to me. No, interim government. Now, what me self they observe, because to be honest, for let them pull these results, that means everything we didn't say now lie. But let we think about I'm a political realist, by the way. So I'm just looking at it from a realistic point of view. For pull the results now, we run contrary to waiting and not talk all the months they are. Say, oh, the president win the election, oh, the international community they intervene and this, that, and they want to say we're a liar. But if they pull arm issue otherwise, things in a problem, so you go out for like more. This is part of the negotiation, I believe, where they on go. Have a safe face. But many thanks for that contribution. Who do we have next? We have Izera Dab. How I got cured from herpes virus. I was diagnosed in a way. I have tried all I can. Okay, this is not the one they will try for advertising people and platform. The information are not they dismiss them automatically. If you get chance, when I go read them, when I know what you want to make of them. But you get people that will definitely just the hustle of social media for expanding pages. So they join all kind of page and advertise them, program them. Some of them are just completely nonsense, like people that way they do money doubling, other people in America and what have you. So you make the choice yourself. Okay, let's see. We get Sister Agi B. Thank you, Mr. Prince, for your rational views. Thank you so much, Sister Agi. Amanatu Sanusi Tata. Okay, Sister Tata. Okay, we got Jerry Brown here again. I fear all what you are explaining, international politics and diplomacy is beyond the comprehension of those people. Turn to this platform now. Yes, I think so. I get you feel. And I want to agree with you, Mr. Brown, on a more serious note, because I do have arguments on and off media. I talk about impasse. Me, one of the first person we be talk about a standstill, an impasse, in our government. Oh, get some people that we go for a big college and we live in America, we Sabi State Department, we disagree. But no, I think the resume speak for itself. Anyway, many thanks for that. Aminata Sanusi, let's see what the sister says here. Salon people with stress, can you imagine? So internet broke out. Exactly. So here's the problem. The internet now, social media, people and they use them negatively. It's a weapon. It's a weapon of choice. I can use it now because I get few people that will believe in me, but I will never betray that trust and confidence. I try for be impartial in my views. Yes, as much a man, I get my own faults. Them, I'm not an angel. I get me inherent biases. I ask for forgiveness. But other than that, it's about country first. Many thanks, Sister Aminata. Who do we have there? We have IBS Kamara, Ibs Kamara. I believe Sierra Leoneans ought to be watching your analysis as they provide the basis for all aspirations, our political impasse. Many, many thanks, Mr. Kamara, for your kind words. Really do appreciate that. Yeah. Who do we have next? Alusan Seri. All we need is for ECSL to produce the June 24, 2023 for disaggregated results with the RRF forms for recount. I am there. I am F. There is no winner. We need a rerun of it. Okay, just expressing his views on a rerun. Fair enough views. Who do we have here? We have Michael Coker. Okay. Una go dip on this nonsense till 20. So let me ask you, Michael. So what are your own thoughts? And what do you think? Let we just forget about this. Let us sweep the dirty under the carpet. And then 2028, we pull and come under the carpet again, or the also boku that the heap a high like mountain. You with the express with your thoughts now. So you give me yours other than just trying to be sarcastic, yeah? Okay. Alfred Kamara. I don't know what Alfred been asked, meaning probably been a response to Michael Coker. So anyway, maybe further on, maybe he did respond. Aramasila, because he did not pay attention to the economy, he came to revenge against the APC membership. So even though he was elected democratically, he took it as an opportunity to fight the APC membership and secret ballot with secret expenditure. He failed to realize that when two elephants fight, the grass always suffer. I think I get the sister in point there, Sister Mayama. Absolutely. I think the president, yes, he was elected democratically because an Eskroma turned over power to him in blah, 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 blah. And the president took his eyes off the ball. And I can't for sure say he can't revenge like how the sister put him, but definitely it was something that distracted him. So instead of having paid attention to the work and mandate with the Sierra Leonean people here, he got distracted by something else. And as a consequence, here we are today. Forget about what I tell you about Ukraine. We could have done far better. We should not have been in this worst state that we are in. Many thanks, Sister Marama. Do really appreciate your contribution. Hannah. Michael Coker. Okay, let's see Michael Coker. Maybe it's clarify his point. Alfred Kamara, una lost free and fair, and the APC executive just the lie pa una. Me the advice una for put una house in order for 2028. Okay, Michael, I don't agree. I don't agree with this at all. The fact that you say the APC just the lie to una. So the American people, the American government is also lying to the people. It's the EU made up of 26 European countries lying to the people of Sierra Leone. Coming back to the people of Sierra Leone, when they asked for the disaggregated list, polling station by polling station, when Mr. Kane refused to produce, up till now they go and pull all kinds of fake results, put them up, put them. What the people have called for is for proof, point by point, say the president win 56% or whatever of the vote will make him president. Polling station by polling station. That's all they asked for. Is that a big deal? That's for you, Mr. Coker. Many thanks. Okay, Michael Coker again. Let's see. He's got Michael Coker seems to be active tonight. Welcome that. Some of APC supporters are delusional if they believe that there is going to be another presidential election. The Supreme Court is the only institution that could order a new election, period. but the exclamation could not have been too many. Anyway, this much I agree with is the Supreme Court. But having said the Supreme Court, now whose Supreme Court? WHOSE. Whose Supreme Court? Okay, that's my question for you, Mr. Coker. It's easy for tell people and say, go to the Supreme Court. And why are you so glad for tell people, go to the Supreme Court when there's a history? Okay, Abdul Sise, Samura commits anti-party activities. He engaged with the rogue government without the party consent. Okay, that's Mr. Sise's view. Abdul Sise again, the par one par for jet ride as he don't owe it then for the UN trip. Okay, I think my mother beauty they attribute that to. I don't quite get that. Let's see who's Keru. Welcome, analyst Prince Chroma. Yes, Mr. Keru, thank you very much. My last name is without an H, but many thanks for that. I'm sure you don't know. Sylvia Palmer, they should not negotiate without releasing the results. Okay, Sister Sylvia, your point is taken. But if they don't negotiate, how can they produce the results? Everything now rotates around negotiations. But again, I find it difficult if that result would ever be produced, not for now as we see it. Again, one final time, if Mohammed Kone was to admit that the results where he read is different from what he actually get, that will send the country into a turmoil, or automatically, Malabio just get for Komot and give Samura Kamara way, which I find impossible, hence why the country is in an impasse. So we final contribution for today comes from Mandane Ali. I just okay, just the join in the show, just the finish. But thanks for joining. Really appreciate that. Okay, Fambulem, I think we need for end the program, to be honest. Yes, we need for end the program. It's been a brilliant run, to be honest. Yes, it's been a brilliant run. And like I say, Sekou John, they come with a very powerful program with the head of the psychiatric department of the Ministry of Health, Sierra Leone, Dr. Abdullah Jallo, will be on this platform on this coming Friday. And don't forget for tuning. It's going to be very, very interesting. You will know, say, beaucoup people and they suffer now from from mental health. Mental health. I don't mean for laugh, for mental health now, a serious problem. And sometimes even myself when they laugh, they suffer from it because it come in different ways, and the causes, you can be, you're different in many respects. But I want to say thank you to Una we're tuning today. This is on the TNN TV Media Empire, where they bring you the news unlike any other platform. We put we country first. We not take politician and put them first. We not see them known as semi-god. In fact, we know say both sides are hugely corrupt. But right now, one side will make the other side look like angel. And this is not fact. This is not the TNN TV Media Empire. And until we cut the equity, Yeri, please contribute. Please subscribe. And if you like the video, don't forget to click the like thumb like figure or symbol. And that's all, family. I tell you, thank you very, very much. And then Prince Emil Kuma. Until we catch up again. Goodbye for now. Yes, then and now, the power of analysis. Remain true to the cause. The truth is out there. Search for it, Sierra Leoneans, and you will find. Don't get carried away by fake news. There are people with evil and different intent just for catapult with good country into furthermore suffering. But we should not accept what is not ours, what is not us. Always believe. And if you believe, look for the truth and you will find. Goodbye for now. Thank you.